Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a couple of health tips and just telling you about my fitness journey, things that you guys can start, or if you're maybe looking to start working out, I'm going to give you tips and also give you maybe some food ideas or suggestions if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain healthy weight, or if you're trying to just be healthier in general. I know that videos like this can be a bit dicey because I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, but I'm just telling you things that are already popularly known in fitness and in health. I'm not going to say anything outlandish. I'm not going to say anything that I cannot verify. So just putting that out there that I'm not an expert. So I'm just telling you the things that I do, things that other people do, and how they work. So before I get into it, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure that you also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I publish a new video. One of the reasons I started being very health conscious is because I started going to the gym. And this even started from Nigeria, but I was not really paying too much attention to it. It was always at the back of my mind, but I wasn't paying too much attention to it. So back in Nigeria, I started the gym in 2023 and my journey has been really good. I wish I used to take before and after pictures, but that's just not me. But I started thinking about the fact that, okay, I'm going to the gym, I'm lifting all these weights, I'm also kind of burning some level of fat, and I don't want to necessarily eat things that are unhealthy. And I'm not here to preach a purist view of health and whatnot to you. I obviously still sometimes indulge, right? But not as much as I used to. So I started thinking about the fact that, okay, if I'm going to the gym and I'm lifting weights, I kind of want to see results. That's one. Another thing is that I don't want to ruin the work I've done at the gym by eating food that I'm not supposed to eat. So that's how I started becoming more health conscious. And with that, I started doing my research. I started looking for healthier alternatives to things that I would usually eat. And normally I'm already a very picky person when it comes to food. So imagine how pickier I am even now that I'm very careful of the things that I consume. Another reason why I started being more health conscious or more fitness conscious is because I'm getting older, and you know, like when you get older, you start thinking about things that you're not necessarily, or you never necessarily used to think about when you were young. So things like junk food don't really appeal to me anymore, thankfully, because I used to be a sweet tooth, and there are some things that I still cannot just get rid of. But in general, like on a scale of 1 to 10, my love for junk food has dropped to like 2. And that's really good because I'm thinking about the long run. I'm thinking about how all these things come back to affect you when you're much older. The body is really interesting because as you get older, you kind of put on some weight, and sometimes you don't even know where the weight is coming from. I know my mom had this issue, and I've met a lot of other people who had that issue too. So I'm like, this one that I'm seeing, I'm seeing what could be or what could possibly be in the future. Let me try my best to not just prevent it, but kind of control, or, you know, have it under control in a much more effective and healthy way. So the first thing that I started doing was to cut out soda. So right now I don't drink anything soda, carbonated drinks, all that. I don't. I try to stick to things like fruit juice, maybe apple juice. I don't like orange juice or mango juice. Actually, I just only like apple juice. So occasionally I'll indulge and buy apple juice and keep it in the house, but generally I just drink water right now, unless maybe I go out and we're drinking alcohol. I drink sometimes, so I'm not crazy about alcohol, you know. I'm okay if there's no alcohol. I prefer wine though. Wine is like much better than liquor and spirits and all that. But in general, I'm just saying that I cut out soda, and that was like a very, very, very big part of it, because soda is, first of all, it's so much sugar, and second of all, it used to make me really bloated. And I really hate feeling bloated, especially when you wake up in the morning and you're going to work or you're going to do something and you just feel heavy, like there's food that hasn't digested inside your tummy. It's really inconvenient. So cut that out, especially towards the end of last year. I cut it out and I started just sticking to water and apple juice. So if you are looking to eat healthier or consume less junk food, that's like a really good starting point. I know that most of the time these things are not something that you just wake up one day and stop, you know. It takes a while, but maybe you can try going an entire week without drinking soda, or just sticking to water, or sticking to apple juice or fruit juice, or whichever other fruits that you like. So one thing I've also realized in the whole health and fitness lifestyle is that cutting out one thing doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have anything sweet. Like if you're cutting out soda, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to also cut out apple juice. So you can cut out something and still find healthy replacements for them, if that makes sense. So that's something that you can do. Or maybe if you like smoothies, personally I don't like smoothies because I don't like things that you have to drink and chew. I don't get it. Anyway, smoothies are another good option, and it's also good to do all these things at home because when you do it outside, when you get smoothies from outside, you don't know how they make it. So that's another whole story for another day. Another thing that I started doing was to watch the portions of food that I eat. I used to have a really bad relationship with food because back home I couldn't really control what I would eat because I just eat what everybody eats. So sometimes I just don't eat, or I buy something like shawarma, and that's not always a very healthy option. But right now, because I'm trying to gain healthy weight and lean muscle, I tend to eat more, right? Because if you want to gain weight, you have to lift weight and you also need to eat more. I think eating is even the hard part, you know. So I started eating more. I started watching my portions. So instead of maybe eating 3 times a day, maybe I will eat like maybe 4 times a day, but in smaller portions, so that way I'm constantly feeding myself with food. But if you're trying to lose weight, again, I'm not an expert or a dietitian or anything. If you're trying to lose weight, you also need to think about your portions, think about your calories, how many calories you're consuming, you know, look for healthier foods like, let's say, wheat and grain, maybe granola. I usually take granola cereal. That thing really helps. I'm almost never bloated because of it. I think I'll put a picture on the screen and show you guys. Once you eat that thing, your bowels move, like you just feel really good. So that's an aside. Yeah, if you're trying to be more healthy and more fit, think about eating more protein, less carbohydrates, and again, it's not like you're going to cut out completely all the carbs that you eat. Everything just depends on your portions. One thing that I started doing, because I'm a very picky person with food, I started looking for alternatives, right? I don't eat gari, or Nigerians call it eba, the one that you make with hot water. Instead, I eat things like wheat as in wheat that is made into swallow, right? Or even pounded yam. But usually wheat is a healthier option. So that's just one example for me. Another example is that I don't eat yam. I don't like yam. So if I want to eat something that not really feels like yam, but if I want to replace yam with something in my diet, I'll replace it with potatoes. And yam and potatoes don't necessarily have the same function in terms of the nutrients that they give to your body. It's just a replacement, you know. No yam, I eat potatoes. If you don't like potatoes, maybe you can eat yam instead. But everything still depends on your portions and how often you eat, how many calories you consume. So now I'm going to list a couple of the things that I think are good alternatives, or things that I feel like people can eat to have a healthier, balanced diet and whatnot. For proteins, right, I usually do chicken and eggs, either chicken or eggs. So if I'm not eating chicken, I eat eggs. And I'm a very lazy person when it comes to meat in general. Like, I'm someone that can go without eating meat, so often I have to force myself to eat because, again, I'm trying to gain weight. And also I go to the gym very often, so I get hungry a lot. When I feel like I want to eat but I don't actually need to eat, what I do is that I eat granola cereal. Again, I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see. There should be like alternatives in Nigeria. Like, there should be options in Nigeria for you to buy from. I'm saying Nigeria because a lot of my audience is in Nigeria. This particular one that I'm talking about, every time I take it with milk, even if it's in the night, even if it's by like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or something, the next morning, I'm telling you, my bowels move. And maybe it's just me, okay? Everybody's body is different, and I'm sharing my own unique experiences. But because it's like fiber and grain and all those things, it doesn't really make you feel as bloated as maybe eating eba in the night, or eating rice late at night, or eating bread, or eating yams that have carbohydrates and all that. So more fiber, more wheat, more protein, more grains are very very useful. Another thing is rice. Rice is not necessarily bad. I don't think rice is bad because I eat rice, I eat spaghetti very often. It's been a while since I ate beans, but that's something that you can also think about. So if you don't want to completely cut out carbs, because carbs are still needed, right? If you don't want to cut them out completely, just reduce the portion. So you could do maybe rice and beans, and then a lot of chicken, a lot of vegetables, and then water. Another thing that you can do, if you don't want to eat gari, instead you can blend unripe plantain. blend it and then make it into swallow. I'm not like the biggest fan of plantain, but I tell you it's very healthy. I know my mom used to do this a lot for my dad, and I think I even made a video about it one time, like this was maybe 2021. Yeah, 2021, 2022. It's very popular and it's really, really healthy. So instead of maybe eating semo, I love semo by the way. Instead of maybe eating semo or eating eba, you can maybe blend oats to make swallow. You can maybe blend plantain or ripe plantain to make swallow. It's a healthier alternative, especially if you love to eat Nigerian food, and I love Nigerian food so much. Another thing that I've tried to do more recently is to eat vegetables. Vegetables that I particularly like. Okay, there's some vegetables I don't like, and I also don't like when people cut vegetables too big. I think I've said this thing a couple of times before. I like when people cut vegetables too big inside food. It just makes it look overwhelming. I tend to make my own food by myself, and that's another thing. I'll talk about that as my next point. I tend to add vegetables into anything that I'm eating. It looks less bland. First of all, it's more healthy. Maybe if you want to do broccoli, if you want to add cauliflower or whatever kind of vegetables that you want to put into your food, it will really help you to feel and to be healthier. So if you're going to eat rice, instead of eating regular rice and stew, you can just do like rice and chicken sauce and add some vegetables inside with some chicken and some maybe eggs or something. And then, you switch up your food a little bit so that it's not boring. Because sometimes like you eat one thing over and over and it becomes so boring. And I'm trying to break out of that. I'm trying to try new things sometimes. So that's just an idea. So another tip I have for you is homemade food is so important. Personally, I don't like to eat out. Even when I moved here, I hardly eat out. If I buy food from, let's say, a Chinese restaurant or something, it's because I'm not in the mood to cook, or I'm lazy, or I'm tired. But for the most part, I make my food by myself all the time. The reason making your own food is healthier, and that's why it's very important to learn how to cook. It's not just for the sake of feeding your children or feeding your husband or whatever. It's actually for yourself. The reason why it's safer to make your food by yourself is because you're the one who measures the ingredients you're going to put. You know the quality of water you're using to make your food. You know the ingredients you're going to use. Do you understand? When you buy food from outside, you don't know the ingredients that they use to cook. And I'm not trying to say that every place that you eat out is bad. I'm not trying to say don't eat out at all, but just make homemade food much more than you eat out, if that makes any sense. It's okay to go to restaurants once in a while, you want to do some fine dining, but if you're on a fitness and health journey or lifestyle or whatever, making your food is a very, very huge part of it. And cooking is so, I know I used to say I hate cooking, right? And actually it's not like my favorite thing to do, but it's actually very, very beneficial because you solve a lot of problems for yourself by doing just that, just by being sure of what actually goes into what you're cooking. My last point finally is going to be that prevention is better than cure. Healthcare has become so expensive and sometimes inaccessible, especially in a country like Nigeria where our politicians are just very annoying people, so it's better for you to prevent any potential issues that can happen. And I'm not trying to say that bad things don't happen out of the blue. So I'm just saying it's better for you to be healthy, know you're healthy, prevent whatever problems that could potentially occur before they actually occur, right? So it's like erasing them completely or reducing the chances of them actually happening to you. Once again, I just want to say that I'm not an expert. I am not a dietitian or a nutritionist or anything like that, but I'm telling you things are very common. If you go to the internet, you see things like this. People talk about it every day. People who have fitness YouTube channels to talk about it. So it's not uncommon to do these things, and it can be difficult, can be slightly more difficult because, believe it or not, eating healthier is more expensive because you have to be careful of what you're buying and what you're not buying and all that. So it can be more expensive, but in the long run, your body will thank you. In the long run, you will feel really, really good. And a healthy body is like a healthy mind. When you take care of yourself, you feel good, in some cases. So that's all I have for you for this video. If you found it helpful, please make sure that you give the video a thumbs up. And if you have any other tips, or if you feel like I missed a couple of points, feel free to leave them in the comment section Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I publish a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.